The crime was a result of the unhealthy family relationships of the youth. As the investigators delved deeper into the case, they uncovered several gruesome details and continue to uncover more. Nair Galazar was born on September 11, 1998, and resided in Gualeguaychú, a small city in Argentina with a population of approximately 100,000. Her hometown is located near Uruguay, which is renowned for its carnivals. Nair was known as a cheerful and outgoing child during her younger years. She had a younger brother named Aaron, who was 3 years her junior and had a developmental delay that impacted his academic performance. Eventually, Aaron was diagnosed with a disability. In contrast, Nair excelled in her studies, particularly in foreign languages. Her family had a positive reputation, and their relationships were robust and contented. The household was always orderly, thanks to their mother, who instilled in her children the importance of being neat from a young age. At some point, Nair became fixated on cleanliness and developed a habit of cleaning with remarkable regularity. She also took extra care to ensure her hands were always clean. Nair's father worked as a police officer and her parents were openly affectionate towards their children, spoiling them whenever possible. Nair had aspirations of becoming a lawyer, and she pursued her dream by attending university to study law after completing her schooling. She took good care of herself, regularly attending gym classes and getting massages. Additionally, she frequently socialized with her numerous girlfriends at parties. The protagonist of this story met her boyfriend, Fernando Posterica, when she was only 14 years old and he was 15. Fernando, who was born on January 3, 1997, hailed from the same town as Nair and shared her fun-loving nature. He was also known for his love of animals. Despite their initial struggles, the teenage couple fell deeply in love and began a relationship. However, they frequently argued and broke up due to their mutual distrust and jealousy towards each other. Despite this, they always managed to reconcile and get back together. In 2016, Nair, her boyfriend, and her family took a vacation together to Brazil, providing a welcome respite for the couple. During the trip, they managed to avoid their usual quarrels and enjoyed each other's company. Despite the brief reprieve, their relationship continued to deteriorate and their conflicts escalated. They frequently broke up and reconciled, only for the cycle to repeat itself. In 2017, the couple planned to celebrate Christmas with their friends at a party hosted at a bowling alley. However, Fernando, who was 20 years old, and Nair, who was 19, arrived separately due to yet another quarrel between them. Just before heading to the bowling alley, Fernando got into a physical altercation with another person, Rafael. It remains unclear what sparked the fight. Fernando claimed that Rafael severely beat him up, while Nair insisted that Fernando instigated the fight due to his jealousy towards a girl. On December 28, 2017, Nair realized that she had left her charger at Fernando's place after returning from a massage. She decided to visit Fernando's residence to retrieve her charger and spend some time with him. Later that evening, Fernando drove Nair back to her home. The next morning, a passing taxi driver discovered Fernando's lifeless body in a pool of blood. The driver promptly called the authorities, but Fernando was already dead by the time they arrived. Upon investigation, the police found that Fernando had been shot twice, and his body was located near his motorcycle with 2 helmets nearby. The news of Fernando's death caused a commotion in the city, and Nair found out about the tragedy when she woke up at 7 a.m. She posted a photo of her and Fernando on her Instagram with the caption, "5 years together, fights and breakups, reconciliation, but always with love. I love you forever, my angel." Shortly after, she received a call from Fernando's mother, but she claimed to know nothing about the incident. The investigators wasted no time in gathering evidence and clues to solve the case. The initial theory that Fernando was a victim of a robbery was quickly dismissed as all his money was found with him. The police were puzzled as the murder happened in a quiet neighborhood with minimal crime. They were left wondering who could commit such a heinous act against a young man and why. According to forensic evidence, Fernando was killed with a 9mm pistol, which is commonly used by police officers. This has led investigators to consider the possibility that the shooter could have been a police officer. The first shot was fired from close range from behind, indicating that the attacker may have had an advantage over the victim. The second shot, which hit Fernando's heart, was fired from the front. The presence of 2 helmets near the body suggests that the attacker knew the victim well, possibly even riding on the same motorcycle. Video footage from nearby cameras showed Nair leaving the scene in a hurry, but her face could not be identified with certainty. The police are investigating all leads and evidence to identify the killer and bring justice to the victim and his family. Nair was suspected by the police and invited for questioning at the station. She explained that Fernando dropped her off at home that night, and she went straight to bed after taking a shower. The next morning, she found out about the tragedy and was devastated. Nair answered the investigators' questions with tears and sincere grief, which led them to exclude her from the list of suspects. Nair's father, who is also a police officer, was also invited for questioning. He denied knowing Fernando and claimed he could not be connected to him, which was later found to be false when pictures were discovered of their trip together. It was unclear why Nair's father had lied about knowing Fernando. The investigation suspected that he might have been involved in the murder, and that is why he lied. He was put on the list of suspects because the type of weapon used in the murder was the same as his service weapon. The investigators came up with a possible motive for the crime. Nair's father didn't approve of her relationship with Fernando and shot him in a fit of anger. However, Nair intervened and took the blame to protect her father. She claimed that Fernando had been violent towards her that night and had dragged her by her hair before sending her home. She said that she had shot him in self-defense. But the investigators couldn't figure out how Nair had come into possession of the gun, which led them to suspect that the crime was premeditated. It was later discovered that Nair had stolen the gun from her father's fridge, and after carrying out the crime, she simply returned it to its place. Her parents didn't notice the missing gun, so there was no suspicion. Furthermore, Nair was identified on the camera footage. Subsequently, the police called her in for questioning once again. They asked why she ran away from the scene of the crime and did not seek any medical or police assistance, despite claiming self-defense. Nair stated that she had panicked and did not expect the shots to be fatal. She added that when she realized Fernando was dead, she was overwhelmed with grief. The testimony from mutual friends was inconsistent. While some of Fernando's female friends blamed Nair for mistreating him, others blamed Fernando and claimed Nair often talked about his abusive behavior towards her. Meanwhile, Fernando's male friends blamed Nair for everything and said that their relationship was fraught with frequent fights. It was also revealed that Nair had other boyfriends besides Fernando, and it's possible that Fernando had other girlfriends too. To gain a better understanding of the situation, the police examined Fernando's messages and discovered that he had been subjected to a great deal of abuse from Nair. She frequently threatened him and his friends, and Fernando had even complained of being physically assaulted by her. Eventually, Fernando became tired of the toxic relationship and decided to break up with Nair in the hopes of finding peace and tranquility. The possibility of Nair seeking revenge on Fernando was not ruled out, and when confronted, Nair attempted to justify her actions. She claimed that the incident was an accident, that they had fallen off the motorcycle and that the gun went off unintentionally. However, her explanation was not convincing, and the ballistics expert confirmed that it was highly unlikely that two accidental shots would occur in succession. Moreover, the surveillance cameras captured Nair walking away from the scene calmly, which contradicted her claim that she was in a state of shock after the incident. The investigators found it hard to believe that the two shots were accidental, and the evidence suggested that Nair had intentionally shot Fernando. Nair underwent graphological analysis, which revealed her tendency toward unstable emotional behavior. Her signature exhibited her inability to contain her emotions. The analysis also revealed her egocentricity and manipulative tendencies, as well as personality traits such as aggressiveness, a desire for attention, impulsive lying, and dominance over others. It was discovered that Nair was not as straightforward as she appeared at first glance. Her hidden character was evident from her teenage years, during which she once staged her own kidnapping at the age of 16 as a joke. Her parents were appalled when they found out. She was sent to a psychiatrist, who diagnosed her with absolute narcissism and OCD due to her obsession with cleanliness. During the trial, Nair displayed her character's peculiarities by answering questions with arrogance and resentment. She came dressed inappropriately and flirted with everyone. Although she continued to claim self-defense, nobody believed her anymore. Despite her father's initial defense, he eventually disowned his daughter. The investigation presented its own version of the events. According to their findings, Fernando had taken Nair home around 2 a.m. They had a heated argument for a couple of hours, during which Fernando tried to end the relationship, but Nair disagreed. She discreetly took her father's gun, and they drove to a quiet, dark street where Nair shot Fernando in the back. After he fell, she shot him again. Nair then returned home, took a shower, washed her clothes, and cleaned the gun before putting it back and going to bed. The investigation concluded that Nair's actions were premeditated and intentional, rather than accidental. They also found no evidence to support Nair's claims of self-defense or that she was a victim of violence. Nair was convicted of murder and received a severe sentence, life imprisonment, making her the youngest girl in the country to receive such a punishment. She may be eligible for parole after 35 years, meaning she could potentially walk free at age 54. Despite her 3 appeals, her sentence remained unchanged. Now, 4 years later, Nair claims she is not guilty and is attempting to shift the blame onto her father. However, her claims raise questions such as why her father did not appear on camera and why Nair was at the scene. Interestingly, Nair's mother supported her daughter and divorced her father. Nair alleges that she has always been afraid of her violent father and her uncle who allegedly raped her. Nair initially took the blame for her father, fearing for her brother and mother. She has even filed a lawsuit against her uncle. The public became aware of the case, and opinions are divided. Some support Nair, while others believe that she has ruined not only herself but also Fernando and her brother's future, who will need care after their parents' passing. Share your opinion on this story and do not forget to like the video if you like it. Thank you for watching.